Your dog listens perfectly in the living room, but the second you step outside, it's like you don't even exist anymore. Suddenly, they can't hear sit. They ignore your recall. They pull towards every single dog, every smell, every movement, like your commands mean absolutely nothing. And most owners think the problem is the obedience, but it's actually not. The real reason your dog ignores you in public has nothing to do with them being stubborn. And I promise you that. And if you don't understand what's actually happening psychologically, you'll keep fighting a losing battle every single walk. What am I saying? Here's the breakdown. Tune in. One of the biggest lies owners tell themselves is, my dog knows the command, they're just choosing not to listen. But here's what's actually happening. When your dog steps outside, they enter a completely different psychological state. Inside your house, there is low stimulation, a predictable environment, and a minimal pressure on the nervous system. But once you're outside, once you take your dog for a walk, you have different competing motivators, such as, for example, cars, other dogs, people, different smells, movement, noise, the wind, birds, stress, adrenaline, and just a bunch of other competing motivators. Your dog's brain suddenly has to process hundreds of competing pieces of information all at once. And this is where most owners completely misunderstand the problem. Your dog is not ignoring you because they are bad. Your voice simply becomes irrelevant compared to what the environment is offering them biologically. Imagine trying to listen to somebody whisper your name in the middle of a concert. That's what your dog experiences outside. And the stronger the environment stimulation becomes, the weaker your social value becomes. That's why your dog can sit perfectly in your kitchen but turns into a different animal at the park. And here's the truth, most trainers won't even tell you. The environment is paying and rewarding your dog better than you are. Every smell, every squirrel, every dog, every moving object creates dopamine spikes in your dog's brain. The grass that you walk past every single day, to your dog, it's social media, it's Netflix, it's gambling, and a nightclub combined into one experience. Meanwhile, most owners are standing there repeating sit, come, no, heel, over and over again. And then they wonder why the dog tunes them out, because most obedience becomes background noise. This is why food often stops working outside. Owners constantly tell me that their dog is food motivated at home but not outside. And my answer is that the environment simply has more value than the reward you are offering. Your dog does not plan ahead of time to disrespect you, but instead they are thinking, why would I stop this thing I love for a piece of kibble? That's the psychological battle you are actually fighting. And most owners lose because they were never taught how to compete with environmental fulfillment. This is where traditional training starts collapsing, because a lot of dog owners are taught obedience mechanically. They are told to repeat commands, repeat drills, and do lots and lots of repetitions. And yes, that can work in low pressure environments, but public spaces expose weak training immediately, because true obedience is emotional before it's mechanical. If your dog is overstimulated, stressed, over-aroused, frustrated, anxious, or even hyperfixated, the learning part of the brain starts to shut down. That's why yelling louder rarely ever works. That's why repeating commands 15 times doesn't work either. That's why dragging your dog physically through situations often makes things worse, because you are trying to communicate with a brain that's already overwhelmed. And the more pressure owners apply emotionally, the more disconnected the dog becomes psychologically. This is why so many people feel embarrassed on walks, because deep down, dog owners know that their dog understands this command at home, but they feel invisible outside. And that is because obedience without emotional regulation is fragile. Now here's where everything changes. The goal is not to become a command machine. The goal is to become the gateway to the things your dog wants more than anything. This is the mindset shift most owners never make. Instead of constantly competing against the environment, you need to start controlling access to the environment. That changes everything psychologically. If your dog wants to sniff, let them sniff. If they want to explore, let them explore. If they want to engage with the world, let them engage. But that access has to come through you and not around you. Your dog should have access to these things only when you allow, and then your dog starts seeing you differently. You stop becoming the person who ruins fun and becomes the person who unlocks it. That's where real engagement starts. This is why neutral dogs are not constantly being micromanaged. They are psychologically connected to the handler. Your dog will start understanding that if they engage with you, they get access to the world. And this is also why off-lead reliability becomes so much stronger when done correctly, because the dog stops seeing freedom and obedience as opposites. They become linked together. Most owners are trying to control behavior, but the real goal you should try controlling is connection, because when the connection between you and your dog is strong enough, then commands become quieter. You stop needing to repeat yourself constantly. Your dog starts checking in with you naturally, and they start choosing engagement with you. And this is why the best dog trainers in the world don't just train commands. They train state of mind. They train emotional regulation. They train relationship value. They understand that public obedience is not built in the park. It's built through thousands of tiny psychological interactions that teaches the dog that you as the owner matter more than the chaos around them. And that's the hidden psychology nobody talks about. Your dog's behavior in public is not random. It's a reflection of the relationship, fulfillment, structure, and emotional state you have built every single day. So if your dog ignores you outside, pulls on the lead, reacts to everything that moves, blows you off, and becomes completely disconnected in public, you do not need another generic obedience class. You need a system that fixes the psychology behind the behavior. If you want help transforming your dog's behavior and building real engagement outdoors, book a call using the link in the description. And remember, your dog's behavior isn't random. It's a result of what you are doing every single day. Will you change it or keep living with it? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Take care.